I'm failing. I just don't know what I'm going to do anymore. I'm never going to be successful no matter how hard I try. Hey, have you ever had those thoughts going through your mind? Do you have them right now? Maybe you never said them out loud or even said them to anyone else, but deep down, that's the way you might be feeling. And the more you start to think about that, the more you start questioning yourself. You question your decisions. You question your ability. You even start wondering, am I actually capable of being successful in my job, my career, or even in my business? And eventually you start asking yourself a much harder question because you start believing it. What if the problem is me? What if I'm destined to fail? Well, first of all, I'm here to tell you today that the problem is definitely not you. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why I say that. Hi, I'm Troy Ratliff. I'm a professional sales, life and business coach. And my channel is about one thing, helping you unlock your true potential. Here we explore psychology, strategies and skills that can improve your performance, help you make better decisions and get the results you want. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is the feelings that I have just spoken about and I helped you identify. They are natural. Every one of us, no matter how successful we are, has felt that way at some point in time. Whether you're in business, you're a professional athlete, or even someone simply trying to build a better life for themselves, we've all questioned ourselves, I assure you. Therefore, don't automatically assume that the way you're feeling means that you're failing, or you think different than all the rest of us. I assure you, it doesn't. It actually just means you're being human. Now, of course, there are many reasons why you might feel this way. Maybe you're not getting the results you expected. Maybe you've had a few setbacks, but let me assure you, we all have. Or maybe the pressure of your career or the finances is affecting you emotionally. But this is what I really want you to think about. This is so important, I want you to listen to now. There's a very big difference between having a problem and starting to believe that you are the problem. Let me say that again. There's a very big difference between having a problem and starting to believe that you are the problem. Okay, your business isn't going well, so you think you're failing. Or you make one bad decision and think, I don't know what I'm doing. Or things are not happening quickly enough, so we become impatient and think, I'm never going to be successful. But does thinking these things actually make them true? Of course it doesn't. And this is where we need to control our mindset. Most importantly, the state of our mind. Because I tell clients all the time, we can't always control every event or situation in our lives. It's impossible. But you know what you can start trying to control? How you think about them, how you react to them, and how you respond to them. Because if we're constantly thinking negatively, after a while, that starts pulling down our emotional baseline. Now, let me explain what our emotional baseline is. This is the emotional state that you become accustomed to, and the way that you automatically react when something happens. Another thing that can start to happen is what I call the paranoid loop. This is where you're constantly looking and scanning for what might go wrong. Whether it's in your business, you're searching for problems that may not even exist. This doesn't just happen with business, this also happens in our life. It can also happen in one area, which is relationships. We've all had bad relationships in the past, right? Therefore, we then go ahead and we meet someone new. And we might be going, great. You're enjoying their company, you're starting having feelings for them. But instead of sometimes enjoying it, we keep thinking that, hey, this is too good to be true. Something's going to go wrong, just like it did in the past. Even though there's no evidence that anything is going wrong, but we're hunting in our mind, right, to try and find a problem. And after a while, the way of that thinking becomes our normal attitude to life, to relationships, to our business. That becomes normal. We're looking for these problems. And you know something? We don't even realize we're doing it. But just because it has become normal for such a long time, it doesn't mean it has to stay that way. This is what I want you to learn. Your brain has the ability to adapt and change. In fact, there's a name for it. We call it neuroplasticity. This is where if you constantly tell yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm gonna fail, I'm not good enough, and you keep reinforcing it into your thoughts, that's become the norm. But the same principle applies the other way. If you start thinking, I can do this, I can work this out, I can achieve the result I want, and you reinforce it, naturally you're going to start believing it. Therefore, you can actually decide which way you want to think. And the more you think it, the more it will be reinforced. Now, the challenge is always been, well, how do I break an old habit? So these are 4 simple things that I want you to start implementing now. And I get all my clients to do it. The first one is take responsibility. Take responsibility for your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions. Because as soon as you start taking responsibility, you start taking control. Like I tell my clients all the time, you cannot always control the event, you can only control how you react to it. And most importantly, don't blame other people or other circumstances or bad luck. We cannot blame and grow at the same time. Never forget that. Number 2, stop. Stop. When you catch yourself thinking negative, stop and recognize it. Ask yourself, hey, why am I thinking or feeling this way? What made me react like that to a situation? Remember, you can't change anything until you first become aware of it. Number 3, most important, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this actually true? What evidence do I have that I'm going to fail my business? What evidence do I have that this relationship is going to fail? Because just because you feel something doesn't mean it's real. Therefore, you can challenge it. And number 4, change. Ask yourself, what can I do about this? What can I change? What can I learn from it? See, this is becoming proactive. And this is all about you choosing how to respond instead of automatically reacting to it, which, as we're learning, could be negatively. Now, when you practice taking responsibility, stopping, challenging, and changing, you break that old pattern. Now, this works very effectively and also can work quite quickly. I'm going to give you a simple example. I had a client who suffered from severe road rage to the point he nearly put his family in jeopardy through road rage. He said, Troy, every time someone cuts me off, I have this other side comes over me. I get angry, I even scream, and I hit the steering wheel. And it doesn't matter whether I'm alone or even if I've got family in the car. In fact, it happened the other day and it scared my children. So I asked him, what if that person had an emergency and was being rushed to hospital? Would you let them in? And they went, yeah, of course I would. I said, okay. What if his wife was about to give birth? Would you let him cut you off? He said, of course I would. I said, okay. So what has actually changed? What do you mean? He asked me. Well, I said, you still got cut off, but what has actually changed for you to let him in? He thought about it and he said, well, nothing's changed. I said, exactly. The only thing what changed was the way you looked at that situation. I told him, you don't know why the person cut you off. He might not just have actually done it because, again, he has to get to a place quicker than you. I said, so next time that it happened, squeeze the steering wheel just a little. Take a breath and don't react to it. Get on with your day. Enjoy your life. You know something, he started doing it. Within a short period of time, he started controlling his road rage. In fact, now his road rage is completely gone. But more importantly, as he learned, he could apply that same principle to the rest of his life, especially in business, especially in situations. So if someone said something negatively, instead of him reacting, losing his temper, he was just controlled. If he found himself in a sales situation, someone reacted and didn't want to buy, he then paused and thought, okay, what is going to be the next thing I'm going to say? See, nothing around him changed except he changed. Especially the way his emotional default, he started controlling it. Therefore, I want you to think about something. How does or could this apply to your life right now? Now, you may not be able to change everything overnight, but maybe you can start taking that first step and thinking about how you respond to things now. Take that moment. Give yourself a different perspective. Again, it might change your life overnight. Now, at the beginning, I mentioned words like, I might be failing, etc. And you may have felt that. I don't know. But if that's your first thought, I need you to challenge it now. If this video helped you look at things differently, I want you to write reset in the comments. Now, this is not just to put comments for my video. What it does, it allows you to recognize where you are and start resetting your mind. Sometimes we need to take that moment to say, I want to make that change, that deliberate intent. So by going reset, it's allowing you to do that. If you want to go deeper, you can download my Personal Strategic Audit. It's in the link in the description. If you want to reach out to me personally in that website, you can also reach out to me on my WhatsApp. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, give this video a like, and let me know again in the comments what topics you'd like me to cover for the next video. My channel is about one thing, helping you achieve your goals. So remember, unlocking your true potential isn't the problem. Learning how to unlock it is. Okay guys, see you in the next video. Cheers.